We're always told that to build real wealth, you've got to take these huge leaps, right? These massive risks. But what if the real secret to financial freedom was, well, something kind of small? Today, we're going to unpack the 1% rule. It's this super simple idea about how tiny, consistent improvements can actually lead to massive, life-changing wealth. Seriously.
Okay, let's be real for a second. Does this question hit home? I mean, for so many of us, the whole idea of financial freedom, it just feels impossible, doesn't it? You look at that big number you're supposed to hit, and it's just completely overwhelming.
And that's exactly why. We picture it like this massive, impossible mountain, right? The peak, financial independence, it's just so far away, so high up, that even taking that first step feels kind of pointless. You start to think, why even bother?
And you know what? The usual advice we get doesn't help at all. We're told to go find the next big thing, make these huge life-altering sacrifices, or chase some massive, risky win. All that pressure, it just leads to burnout. You end up giving up, not succeeding. But what if we've been looking at this whole thing completely backward? What if the real path to wealth isn't some giant leap at all, but just a bunch of small, almost invisible steps? Well, there's a powerful secret that completely flips this entire challenge on its head.
Okay, so the core of this whole thing is a concept with a pretty fancy name, the aggregation of marginal gains. I know, it sounds super academic, but the idea is actually beautiful in its simplicity. Instead of trying to be perfect overnight, you just focus on making tiny, like 1% improvements, and you just do it over and over and let them stack up.
And that is the big shift in thinking. You have to forget that lottery ticket mentality. The real path to growth, it's all about small, repeatable actions. The goal is just to get 1% better, 1% smarter, again and again and again. Honestly, that's the whole game.
And here it is, the magic number, 1%. I know it seems so small, right? Almost laughably insignificant. But don't let that fool you. This tiny, humble number, it's the key that unlocks this entire system.
So, you might be wondering, how in the world does this tiny 1% get so powerful? Well, the answer is in this beautiful natural process that you've definitely heard of before. It's all about the compounding snowball. Just picture it, a tiny snowball at the top of a really long hill. As it starts to roll, it picks up just a little bit more snow. But then, as it gets bigger, it starts picking up way more snow with every single turn. That's compounding in a nutshell. Your small financial gains start making their own gains.
Okay, and this is the absolutely crucial part, so listen up. When you first start, you're not going to see much. Seriously, your little snowball of savings and investments will barely look like it's growing at all. And this is the exact point where most people get frustrated and just quit.
But this is exactly why you have to stick with it. The real power here is time. After a year, yeah, you've got a little handful of snow. But look what happens. After 10 years, it's the size of a basketball. 20 years, now it's a car tire. And by year 30, that same consistent rolling has turned your tiny start into a massive boulder. The growth isn't linear, it's exponential. All right, so the theory sounds great, it's powerful stuff, but how do we actually do this? How do we put it into practice? Well, the secret isn't to set some huge, scary goal. It's all about building a simple, sustainable system.
Think about it like this, a goal. That needs constant willpower. You're always staring up at that distant mountain peak. And honestly, that's just draining. But a system just runs on autopilot. It makes you focus on the simple, easy action you can take right now, today. And every time you do it, you get this little psychological win, which makes it feel effortless until, bam, it's just a habit.
So what does a winning system actually look like? It's one word: automation. You set up an automatic transfer to your investment account for the day you get paid. That's it. That's the system. You take the decision-making, the willpower, completely out of the equation. That 1% improvement just happens every single month without you even having to think about it.
And this quote just nails the whole philosophy perfectly. When you put all your energy into building a good process, a reliable system, you don't have to stress about the final result. The score, or in our case, your net worth, it just takes care of itself.
Okay, so we've covered the principle, we've got the snowball metaphor, and we've talked about the system. Now, let's get to the really exciting part, the incredible long-term payoff of putting this simple strategy to work.
So let's ask the big question. If you actually do this, if you set up a simple system that gives you just a 1% improvement every single month, what does it actually look like after 30 years? After 3 decades of that snowball just rolling and compounding? The result isn't 100% better. It's not even 500% better. It is a staggering 3,495% improvement. That is the explosive, almost unbelievable power of compounding those tiny little gains. And to make that wow percentage a little more real, let's put it in actual money terms. That small, consistent effort can grow into a massive 350,000 pounds. And this isn't from luck. It's not from some crazy high-risk gamble. It's from the simple, patient, consistent act of just getting 1% better. So, really, there's only one question left for you. What's your 1%? What's one small, simple system that you can put on autopilot literally today to start rolling your own unstoppable snowball? Remember, it doesn't have to be some huge, dramatic change. It just has to be a start.